Sky Squad, we are back in the building and we are talking the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion. I don't even know which season this is anymore because y'all know they do these A, B, C, D, E, F versions of their season. So we're just going to call it what it is, a reunion recap. Okay. And so we're going to talk about how things went. We're going to get into all the details, what happened, this whole situation that Destiny revealed about Latisha, which was probably actually that was not the most startling reveal because we kind of had seen that in the previews. But there was another aspect of this reunion that I thought was intriguing for us to really dive into. But before we get into that, shout out to everybody that is already hopping in the room. Make sure you guys like this video as you hop on in. Go ahead and smash that like button, tap it, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Hit subscribe, y'all. Hit subscribe. Also, y'all, be sure to follow me on my The Rich Life Richie Instagram page. We are actually hosting an open enrollment for our Rich Life membership today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, what you need to do in order to get on the list for that Zoom, and this is for people who want to learn how to travel and you want to learn how to get the deals that I get when I'm traveling. If you want to be able to get those types of deals and also generate revenue from your travels as well, I'm going to give you the play-by-play on how to do that because this is information you need to know. So if you want to travel domestically, if you want to travel abroad, then I'm also going to show you how to get your first complimentary trip as well. So that's going to be pretty fun at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Just simply shoot me an email at this link to become a part of it. I'm going to actually send you guys the link in just 1 second. And it's also in the description of this video. Actually, just email me at bookings@djrichieskye.com. You don't want to miss this. And then I'll send you the Zoom link probably about 1:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Now, with regards to the reunion, y'all, let's go ahead and dive all the way into it. I want to dive into it. First things first, for me, one of the most interesting aspects of the reunion to me is the getting ready for the reunion, like the reunion day, like the day of, as we're getting ready to go on stage. It always seems like there's something that's going wrong with this group. I think last season, or maybe the season before last, Destiny had an issue with her dress. This season, Martell has an issue with his tux, is allegedly in Paris. So he has traveled all the way to Los Angeles. I would almost wonder also why too do they film in Los Angeles versus like Atlanta? I mean, or even in Alabama. I mean, surely you've got like a set place that you could do it at, but I would assume that they film it in Los Angeles because I think that Love and Marriage Huntsville is produced with King to Reign in partnership with obviously the network owned and ITV. And maybe the ITV offices or headquarters is in Los Angeles, and maybe that's why, or maybe they just have a different level of budget and they want them there. I know sometimes when they film like these reunions and things, executives want to be on hand. So I'm not really sure why it is that they have to travel to Los Angeles, other than, it's, a fabulous place, obviously, to do filming. But it would seem to me like, why not go to Atlanta where you have the Tyler Perry studios that you could also film at and do the reunion there? I'm sure there's a lot there where you can do it, because I'm wondering, is that where the Birmingham reunion was filmed? I thought that was filmed on Tyler Perry studios as well. So I'm just kind of curious, right? And it seems like a lot of the cast is always in and out of Atlanta anyway. So that just made me wonder, because I was thinking about this. They were talking about how, when Marcus, the producer, maybe executive producer, I'm thinking that he's one of the executive producers, is kind of running from room to room, and he's on the phone with Martell, and Martell is basically like, yo, well, my suit is still in Paris, so I'm I'm not there, as everybody else is there and preparing to walk out onto the set, he is shown literally in the shopping malls, right? Looking for a suit to wear. Okay. So that's pretty interesting to me. And I'm always fascinated by the pre-reunion of it all. And I actually wish OWN, if anybody from OWN is listening to me, I promise you this. If y'all did a digital special for the reunion, now I don't know how much y'all would have to pay these people for that, because I'm sure some of this is contractual obligation, but I do think that you could recoup that amount of money if you did a digital special on your YouTube channel, and then you would make your money back from the ad revenue. Okay. Or even in doing that, you could also highlight some of the designers that actually did it. No one is doing this OWN. This would be completely your lane. Okay. Hear me what I say. This will be completely your lane. The housewives aren't doing it. Nobody else is doing this. So when y'all do y'all's reunion, y'all do what we call a fashion segment, where you can actually go into the room, spend time with people who are doing the makeup, the behind the scenes, all of that stuff. Really capture it and make use of what all of this actually is. I think that there's an opportunity for OWN to have the little things that they do that are completely different from what like housewives do for their reunions, because housewives, they're going to release reunion photos, right? They're going to highlight the designers, but they're going to do it in the form of an article and photos. But OWN, y'all have an opportunity where y'all could take it even further. If I'm part of the team, I'm telling y'all, no, we're going to capture all of this, and it's going to be digital extras that we put on our website and on YouTube, where we get the real tea on how these reunion outfits came together. Why would you not do that? It seems to me like it just, some things just seem like obvious. Like, yo, like, let's get this in, because it's such a it's fascinating for y'all to actually have included it in the reunion episode. So it should be fascinating enough to actually expand on and make it into a whole special. And I'm just thinking about what it would do for the designers and for the people who are working behind the scenes to also actually have this thing done, right? Maybe that's just me. And maybe that's just me thinking from the business perspective outside of the network, because sometimes it takes an outside voice to tell you maybe what you could be doing on the inside to actually generate more revenue. But anyway, I digress. So we get that aspect of the reunion, and what people are running around wanting sofas and things of that nature. It's fascinating to me, right? So when we do finally start calling everybody out to the stage, we're calling the people out, and we are, the people are coming, and they call Martell, and he's not there. Finally, he ends up making his entrance or whatever. And there is quite a lot of discourse around Carlos and his hair. And I was shocked that they actually kept that in there, because I'd have been like, oh no, y'all not gonna be coming for me and my hair. But Carlos, you look good, brother. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with a little, bald head action in a beard, baby. Nothing wrong with a little bald head action in the beard. So don't let these people play in your face like that, okay? So everybody comes out. I feel like everybody looks pretty good. I get that there's a theme here for the women, I think more so than for the men. It's, well, unless your name is Chris Fletcher, then I mean, of course, then you are going to be right in line with the theme, as are the ladies. I'm not mad at it, because Chris Fletcher does seem to go the extra mile with his suits, and he definitely went the extra mile with his. So I'm not sure if I would give him the best dressed, but he definitely put in a lot of effort with his hair. Okay, I mean, not with his hair, but with his with his hair, obviously, always, because the hair is always looking curled up, coiled, baby. But the suit is suiting, right? So we get the introductions for everybody, and I will though say this: I think it's interesting, because some of the women, like what's her name, Trish, Kimmy, and Nell, all seem to have some variation of the same hairstyle to a certain degree, slight modifications, slight differentiations. So I probably would have advised, like, if it were me, and again, this is aesthetics, y'all. This is just visual aesthetics. I would have probably been like, we've got to do something a little different with at least one of y'all's hair, because y'all giving the same vibes, and we don't want to have that. We want to have very Everybody needs to have their own distinct look. But that's again me and my visual aesthetics, and that's just how I think. Okay. So that's just that. All right. I did not mind Trish with the blonde hair. This blonde, I think, worked for her skin tone for some reason. Um, I mean, little things I could be picky about, but I don't really want to get that into it because people sometimes have problems when you talk about the way other people, are dressed and whatnot. But I would make certain modifications on with certain people, but that's about it. Meanwhile, and actually, some of the guys I would have, and I get it. Some of the guys are just kind of like not really about the fashion of it all, but I think I would have done something different for like Marceau. Marceau tends to give us the same suit and tie, looking like he's going to a work meeting. And again, a lot of people may like it, but I just feel like for the reunion, I'm going to definitely jazz you up just a bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Chris and you got Carlos coming out there and they are dressed, right? I cannot hate on Martel's suit because I do think that Martel works a particular style, and because he is kind of muscular, it kind of works for him. I didn't mind I didn't mind that Ken took a risk with some pattern as well. Maurice looks good in black in general, so I think that he did okay. But I just feel like we needed to do some jazzing up with Marceau just a bit, like switch it up because I feel like it's kind of samey every season. But again, these are just my preferences. Okay, you guys let me know what y'all's preferences were. Okay. And I will say this for Latisha, my preference would have been for her to do black hair, like jet black hair, mostly because I felt like that brownish, golden brownish, bronzy kind of washed her out a little bit. And I felt like the black hair would have been more of a contrast with her skin tone and with the dress itself that would have made the whole thing pop a little bit better. That's kind of what I would have hoped for with her. Destiny with the ginger. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going ahead and do it. I didn't. I liked that. I think I've said it before that I felt like Destiny could give us a ginger moment, and I'm glad she did it. I like the chain dress. I think I like the whole look. What I will say to all of y'all is this, okay? I need y'all to do the same type of photos that we saw Stormy do on her Instagram when y'all do these photos for the reunion. When I go and try to find photos for the reunion because I want to use them for the thumbnail, I can't find no clean photos of y'all. So I need y'all to start posting some clean photos. Okay? I feel like I need to go over there and just teach a little class. You know what I'm saying? Give me a crisp, clean photo of the full look. So when I need to go make a thumbnail or when somebody is making commentary about y'all in this reunion, we have clean images to work with. Okay? Like it's just certain things we got to start getting done. And they cost minimal, right? It costs minimal to make sure we get all of these shots. All you need is a white or a gray or a gold backdrop. And everybody that comes through when they get dressed, you got to do your quick photos so we can use these for the digital exclusives and we can send them out with our PR when we do our reunions. Okay. Now, I had to get those things out of my system. Okay. Maurice. Maurice was kind of giving priest about. I mean, he was kind of giving father pastor vibes. Okay, so let's talk about what we did see in the reunion, things that were spoken about. Okay, now the first couple that we start off with are Maurice and Kim. It's a lot of Mars on this show, so y'all forgive me. It's a lot of Mars, a lot of Ma. Every man's name starts with a Ma something except for Chris Fletcher and Ken. Okay. So let's dive into it. Side note, and the daughter is gonna be here. Oh God. Meanwhile, Kimmy and Maurice, their package to me, and I know we only have 2 episodes for this reunion, but because we had 30 episodes, I'm a little disappointed that we did not get, and maybe we will next week, but I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get into the DUI of it all, because I think that this was such a huge. The DUI, yes, it did happen in a previous season, but the ramifications of it was still felt in this particular season. And I just was hoping that maybe we would touch on it, but maybe we will next week. Okay. Because we did touch a lot on whether or not Kimmy would forgive Maurice if she found out that he cheated. Now, this is new. She says no, she would not be able to, which is a little bit different from how she seemed to respond to it at the end of the season, just a mere week or two ago. So for Maurice, when he's hearing this, he's like, so you wouldn't even bother giving this the time of day or consideration? I would not be worth the consideration for you. This seems to really upset him, because for him, he is saying that if the situation were reversed, he would still want to be with her if they could figure out how to make things work. And so Carlos then asked Chris and Nell, specifically Nell, well, Nell, for you, how were you able to work through this? And what Nell tells them is probably the most honest truth I think that anybody could say about any situation. You do not know exactly what you will do in a situation like this until you are in it. Okay. It's just like we could all say what we would do if somebody rolled up to us and smacked us across the face, right? Well, depending on the size of this person that smacked you, right? Or how many people they had with them, or maybe were you intoxicated when they slapped you, and did you also say something to? There's so many mitigating factors to different ways of a situation playing out that until you are faced with it, you honestly do not know what you will do. And I think that was probably the best advice that Nell could give as an outsider without telling someone exactly what to do, right? So that was pretty much Nell's space of mind. And also, too, because they've had so much history and you have equity put into the relationship, there is more than to consider than just my feelings are hurt or I feel like I don't trust you right now. And for Maurice, he's looking at this situation from a different perspective. But it's interesting watching the camera pan to like Marceau's face, to Martel's face, watching the reactions of the cast members during this segment. If you go back and watch the actual reunion and you go back and look at everybody, because the camera people, y'all are good on this. Y'all was flashing and looking at everybody else's reactions to see what they was thinking. And we spent a good majority of our time, to be honest with you, on this question right here, when I did feel like there were probably more pressing questions that we should have been asking. And maybe they did, but we don't have that. We have 42 minutes. We have 42 minutes. That's really all we have for each episode, because you got to factor in commercial airtime, right? So there were things that we saw in the season that I wanted them to cover, like, his continued desire to want to put, in the intimate aspects of the relationship, A, on full blast, B, make them to be the totality of his needs for her as a woman and how she feels about that. And I just felt like we didn't get into the nuts and bolts of that enough for me. But again, we only have so long. So I guess we just got to keep things moving. And I think a similar situation happened with the Bell Collective Birmingham reunion, was that we only had 1 episode. So we could only do so much. And so we're only going to get as little as we're going to get. Hopefully y'all have some deleted scenes that y'all could also put on your YouTube page that I'm suggesting that you all do for y'all extra footage and content and things of that nature that we would like to see. But I mean, until then, I'm just gonna hope for the best. Now, let's keep things pushing. All right, keep things pushing. The next couple that we go to is unfortunately going to be that we're going to spend a significant time on Ken and Latisha. Now, listen, I will say these two people look great together. They do. Do I think that they should be together? I don't, at least not right now, in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know that as an audience member or as an audience in general, that we're as invested enough in the storyline because it's lost some of its spark. And I think you lost some spark from it when we lost Marquez in this situation. And that is rather unfortunate because Marquez activated Trish in a way that Ken just does not. Okay. When Trish gets upset with Ken, she goes inward. And that's not good TV to watch. Okay. When Trish gets upset with Marquez, it's outward. So we see the reaction. And unfortunately, because television is a show and tell medium, Ken and Trish's arguments and their most heated disputes happen off camera. So we never actually see those heated moments of aggression that Trish tells us about. We always hear about it through their conversations with friends like Will or with Miss Sharon, but we never really see those harsh interact. We've seen maybe one of those. I think we saw one interaction like that. And I think it was a season ending or a season beginning interaction. But otherwise, we typically hear about these things in passing. And as a result of Marquez being out of the picture, I think for the most of the season, we, the audience, really had zero clue of why you guys were in and out and spinning the block or not spinning the block or whatever you guys were doing. And notably, Ken does not even believe Trish when she tells the group in the reunion that when she says spin the block, because at the event she was like, "Yeah, baby, I spin that block on that thing. I turned it up. Spin that, spin that, spin that, spin it, spin that." I mean, that's what she was given that night at the event. So later on, it becomes, well, no, it wasn't this and that. It wasn't all this. It was just, oh, dot, dot, dot. I sent the text message to an ex, and then we went on it. We went on a beautiful, dainty little walk in the park. Very, very Bridgerton-esque of us, because lest we be seen together on some untoward position, we didn't want anyone to think anything that, that was just, no, we weren't. That's not who we were. That's not what we were doing. We were just walking together. Yes, walking in the forest. Okay, that's all we were doing. But we definitely weren't doing all the spinning that I was telling the girls about. Not in that way. We weren't spinning and spinning and spinning. I wasn't sitting and spinning. I was just, spinning around, twirling around, just walking around the block. That's what I call a spin. I mean, I didn't sit and spin, but I stood and spin. You know what I'm saying? When you stand and spin, it's just that. Okay, guys? So don't get it confused, even though I am confused and I'm confusing you. But don't you get it confused. And Carlos is like, "Ken, do you believe that?" He's like, "No." But you know what? Ken don't care. He don't really care. I mean, because he done had some hot mamas over to his place too. So it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Okay. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. And we back together, and that's all. And that's all it is to it. And I think that's the bottom line, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, when we talk about the reality TV of it all, I don't really need to know those intimate details of what she did or didn't do with somebody that we not gonna see. Okay, we ain't gonna see this person. Fine. I don't really care what they did. The bottom line is, are y'all together or not? And what we know for sure right now in real time, as of today, as of 12:20 on Sunday, June 7th of 2026 is that these people are not together, and they have not been together since at least December of 2025. So as of last night when I watched this episode, my interest in this story as they continue to talk just continued to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. Okay. I was dwindling. Okay, don't call me. It's not Gwendolyn. I'm dwindling. That's my name right now because that's how little interest I have in the story because I already know where you guys are. Dwindling. All right? Dwindling. All right, spell it right. Meanwhile, the thing that I did think that was pretty cool was how Carlos did talk about, as I stated earlier, I don't need to see no more sessions with Latisha and Dr. Francis because I felt like I had seen quite enough. Okay, quite enough. I do understand something about Trish better though, is that I think Trish has been through a lot of traumatizing occurrences. I think that's real. She is someone who not only lost her mom, her dad, her sister, like it was back to back to back. And I think as a result of that, and I think as a result of feeling abandoned by Marquez, I think that there is probably a lot of built up anger, resentment, and hurt and distrust. And I can't blame her for any of that. And so, because of that, I do think it's worth continuing to explore her relationships with the group, but I do need her to be more active, kind of like she got a little active yesterday. Like she got a little bit active last night when I think she had to call out like either Tisha or Kimmy about something that she either agreed with Destiny or Nell on, and she had to like finally voice her opinion. And I think that that's the Latisha, I mean, the Trish that we need to see is her taking an active stance with the women as well, because otherwise it just looks like her and Ken have this outside storyline that is really disconnected from the group, right? So, and I think Trish also has a little bit of an issue being completely honest on camera. And I think that that is something fascinating to watch because while I don't think she's a compulsive liar, I do think that she probably is trying to just protect herself. And in as much as she's doing that, what she doesn't realize is that she's being inconsistent. And that inconsistency actually makes way for good story if used in the proper context. So I'm kind of on board with keeping Trish, because I do think that there is some merit in seeing where she goes next in this group. But if you got girl one more season now, you got one more season because while I do think I think Trish honestly is probably just a nice, cool girl. I'm gonna need you to bring reality TV, Trish. But if that ain't in you, then that's just not in you. Okay. So we're gonna eat. Maybe I can, if you want to do some coaching off. Like I will offer some coaching services for you on how to reality TV. I will. Okay, I'll get you together nice and good. So now when you go back into scenes, you kind of know how to maneuver in a very natural way so that you showcase that your highest and best version of yourself while also making some stuff shake, right? Okay. So let's talk after this and then we'll figure it out. All right? All right, babes? Yeah, just call me babes. Just call me babes. You got my email. Put my email in the chat, babes. And just in case you're watching, bookings, and for those of you guys who want to join our Rich Life community of travelers, we're going to Vail in December on a group trip. I don't think I told you guys that much yet either. So Trish, give me a call and maybe we can see what's going on with you. All righty. Now back to the show. So then the men, they goes out. Yeah, yes, they love me 307. You know what? Maybe I'll just reach out to her. Hey, babes, let's have a consultation. It would just take me about 2 hours with her. Honestly, you give me 2 hours with her, she'll come back. She'll come back lighting that show up. All right. Next. is the girls. The girls, as Soguchi used to say, the girls. We need to address the elefante in the room, and that is Latisha and Destiny and their friendship ups and downs. Up and down, it turning me. So, is Meredith DJing in Vale? No, Meredith, no. But you never know who might. I mean, maybe I might pull out my decks. Yeah, babes, go ahead and do that. Did they talk about Marcel and Latisha yesterday? I don't recall. I don't think they did. Anyway, we got to talk about Latisha and Destiny and their friendship. And the question becomes for Destiny, what is the core issue here? And for Latisha, she basically describes it as this. Okay. I don't feel like she had my back with the whole Martell situation when she asked him that question at the I'm gonna call it the Destiny Q, right? The whatever field day they had. It's not the Bailey Q, it's the Destiny Q, barbecue cookout Ponderosa outside event. And then because Destiny asked the question, like, what she kind of was asking a question about, like, now could the question be considered messy? Sure, it could be, but also too, she asked, how do we resolve this issue between Marceau and Martell? Can it be resolved? If not, and quiet as is kept, the question was for Martell and Marceau. Okay. I don't think there is any way on God's green earth that Destiny would have known that Martell was going to then direct his angst towards Latisha. Like, I don't think she would have known that. There was nothing she could have done to stop that other than to tell him to stop it and then tell him he should apologize to her, because she deserved an apology after that, because he went super low in that conversation. Now, I can understand Latisha being devastated and hurt by that. But even when Martell showed up at the brunch that she and Destiny were sitting at, I don't think Destiny invited that man to come there. All it would take is a view of the call sheet to find out who was filming what and who was going to be doing what. I don't think Destiny said, I think you need to apologize to her, and we're going to be filming at this cafe, and I think you should just show up. I don't think Destiny did that. And I'm quite sure she also said it in the episode. She did not call him there. So you are mad at her for something somebody else said in retaliation to your husband. You cannot be mad at that. Okay. If anything, in that moment, your husband should have been, listen, maybe his responses to Martell are just to either ignore or to try to not like the flames any further, or to just be sarcastic and let him say whatever he want to say. But at the end of the day, the person, if you're going to be mad at anybody about that situation, you might want to be mad at Marceau about it, because Martell was continuing to go and 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 to go. And at some point, Marceau should have been like, all right, bro, that's absolutely enough, because now you're talking about my wife. That's a whole different scenario. You want to direct some stuff at me? That's cool. But you talking about her back in her college days? Like, what does that have to do with anything that's happening today? So that should have been dealt with him. And I can understand you telling Destiny, like, that really hurt my feelings. Did you know about this? And if she had then said no, then that's the only place you can go from that situation. So if you're mad at that, to me, that is null and void, because nobody on this show, apparently not even the network, can control this man, okay, and what he says. So you take from that what you will, but that's just the thing. Okay. When he goes, he's going to go low. Next, Latisha is also upset because she feels like Destiny did not have her back with Miss Nell. I still don't agree with that one either, because I feel like what Destiny was trying to do. Now, I'm not saying that Destiny made all the right moves, But I will say that it was a situation where I felt like Destiny was trying to bring them together. Now you gotta sometimes tell the tea in order to get things to come full circle. Now I feel like Destiny did do a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, I felt like what Destiny was trying to do for Tish is get her to realize that Miss Nell is on the verge. Nell is hanging on by this little nail right here. That Miss Nell has this much patience left for life in general, for the peoples, for anybody. Okay. Miss Nell is just trying is dangling by a thread. She is dangling by the thread of, like a thread on your t-shirt when it's just that one little thread. But if you pull it, that whole sleeve is going to get jumbled up. That's the thread that Miss Nell is operating on because she's got so much going on. She's got the kids. She's doing the grandkids. Chris and the license. She's got the daycare. Chris is an employee at the daycare, or maybe not. She's running the household. She's got to manage all these kids. She's got Twan and Kayla going on. She's now got to open up Pros and Prissy, whatever the name of the store is. She's got this going on. She hurt a leg now. She's got to deal. She got a parent in the house. It is too much for Miss Nell is just dangling. Okay. So yes, she might be a little explosive, Latisha. Yes, she might be. So you might want to take it a little easy on the lady. And Latisha is at a point where she's like, and to be quite honest with you, I feel like it's been season after season of frustration after frustration of people coming with the rumors and stuff like that about Latisha and her marriage and what they think about her as a person. And I understand that too. She is probably on the verge with some of these people and just is like, I am about to explode. Anybody that comes for me now can get it. Okay. Now, all of these women have dealt with these things on this show for quite some time, and even Destiny herself. So I feel like all of these women are now on the verge, right? Now they're all on the verge. Everybody's sitting on ready. And I think that's just a recipe for explosion, because I also think that for as much as Latisha, I'm sure, voices things that she's concerned about at home, with the dynamics of the way it seems as though Marceau and Latisha communicate on camera, it does not seem to me that she's able to actually fully express her all of her anger and her fury in a way that actually feels cathartic and like she's actually released something. So I think what then happens is that anger and that fire tends to come out with the rest of the women. That's just me. That's just what I think. Okay. So I think that there's a little transference of energy happening here. The energy that she cannot direct at Marceau, because I think that he talks to her in a way that makes her feel small. It ends up coming out as fire towards the women, because you guys are not going to make me feel small, because I ain't got to sleep with you. I don't have to be with you 24/7. I don't have to live with you. I don't have to answer to you. So I'm not rocking the boat at home, but I'm definitely going to rock your world if you come at me crazy. Okay. So y'all going to get it some kind of way. Somebody's going to get it. If he ain't going to get it, you going to get it. Which leads to Destiny then revealing that Latisha has said to her, well, I think that Latisha, she says, my issue that I think Latisha has with me is that she said it at Kimmy's event that either I fight with you or I divorce Marceau. Now, Latisha says, that's a lie. You're a liar. Like, it's not true. That is a lie. Lie. Okay. You're lying. You're a liar. Okay. So, do I believe she said it? I believe she could have said it. I believe she could have said it in like the heat of the moment, right? Like, I believe she could have said it like, listen, either I'm going to fight with you or I'm going to fight with my husband and divorce him. Okay? So one of y'all going to get this smoke. I believe she said it in that. I believe she could have said it in that way. So, but I also, so here's the thing. I believe Destiny. I don't think she just conjured this out of thin air. But I'm trying to figure out in what way Latisha could have said that, because I don't believe, despite the fact that I think that he speaks to her in a very demeaning way on television. I am also trying to be cognizant of I am watching a television show, and I'm trying also not to put what I think about their marriage on TV into their marriage in real life, because I do realize there's a day-to-day life that has to happen in this relationship that may not transfer to TV. And the TV life may not always transfer back to their what happens when the cameras are not around, right? And she says something online, Latisha did today, that I thought was actually pretty pivotal, is that, on the show, there's so much discussion about infidelity, but in real life and in real relationships and in real marriages, there is more conflict than actually that. I mean, that is probably like a minuscule a bit of what you actually go through when you're in a marriage or relationship. There's two people, two different moods, two different backgrounds, two different ways of thinking, and you always either have to come together or agree to disagree in some way, shape, or form. I'm specifically speaking, though, about what happens on the screen that I can see with my own two eyes. Okay. So I can see her saying that, like, yeah, girl, it's either you or him. Y'all both getting on my nerves right now. So who, and you right in front of me. So if I feel like you disrespecting me right now, you gonna get it. Now he ain't gonna really get it because I can't. I only got one option. All right. If he gets it from me, it's a divorce. I don't know if that's how she said it or not, but I cannot see her divorcing him because I don't think that anybody. I think that if she, I think she loves that man's dirty draws. Let me just say that. So I don't think she going nowhere. So the frustration is going to come out at Destiny. Period. That's what I think. Now, again, I was not there, but I'm just using my context clues from what I see on the screen and what I see on social media. That's all I got to go by. That's what I believe. Now, I ain't in their home, so I don't know, but that's what it sounds like. But I do believe it was said. Now that I'm thinking about it more clearly, I do believe it was said. And there you go. Now, that is another question. Should Destiny have repeated it? I see somebody put that in the chat. So, Carlos asked a very interesting question to Kimmy. Kimmy, you too had a very similar issue with Latisha where she felt unsupported by you as well. Kimmy feels like her issues with Latisha were different because she was not willing to battle with Latisha in the same way that Destiny is willing to go to battle with it and also be shady. And to that I say, while I do think that Destiny can be shady with her responses, I don't think that the shade that Destiny threw was any worse than the attitude she was getting from Latisha, to be honest with you. Because I think Destiny can be shady, but it's also sometimes I would take it in a joking way. Even when she said the friendship, I'm not going to say the word because they blurred it out. And I think saying this word is like not good. I feel like am I one of those like older people now who like don't really know when something is politically correct or not politically correct? But when Destiny said that basically there were some ups and downs that she felt like she was dealing with Latisha, I didn't take that in a negative way. I just took that to mean that she feels like Latisha's a little moody and she doesn't know when they're on and when they're off again. And it just comes as a surprise to her. That's not talking about someone negatively. That's simply saying like, I'm confused. I just don't see Destiny. I don't see that again. I think that Destiny has smart remarks, but I think that Tisha also can have a bit of attitude too. Like they both have that mix. And I think that they both are just fragile with each other because they are both tired of dealing with either, both of them have gone through fan drama, the fans disliking them and people dragging them and all of this stuff. And I feel like they are both just at a point where they're like, you know what? Nobody's going to do that to me no more. And I just think that they're pushing each other's buttons. That's what I think. And I think that a similar situation is happening with Miss Nell, because when Miss Nell starts talking, baby, let me tell you something. Miss Nell and Kimmy, I can see they're going to be like oil and water. Okay. Oil and water. And Miss Nell came in to this situation today ready. Miss Nell, when I say somebody was sitting on ready, Miss Nell was sitting on ready. Okay. And I can't even remember what started the dialogue between Miss Nell and Kimmy. If somebody remembers it, somebody put it in the chat for me, please. What was it that was said for Nell to really like start popping off? Miss Nell said something about Kimmy and Latisha, I think. And Miss Nell just went there and was like, I gave you grace one time. I'm not going to give it to you no more. And baby, let me tell you something. It was up and stuck from there, because last season's reunion, Kimmy came and she showed up. Kimmy showed up again tonight. Okay. We would call her West Side Kim. You know how they call her West Side Tam? West Side Kim showed up and knock 'em down. Nell said, I'm gonna show up too. Okay. Foot hurt and all. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I'm so Willie. Carlos asked about Nell and Tisha. That's what it was. It was Nell and Tisha that it was actually being asked about. I, I love first. I let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all. Was it Baltimore? Kimmy, is Kimmy from Baltimore? Everybody I know from Baltimore, and this is not a knock, y'all. Everybody I know from Baltimore, either you usually love them or hate them. And everybody I know from Baltimore, they will go upside your head real quick. Okay. Now, I like people like that because I like to know exactly. I don't like gray. If I have to figure out what you are thinking, then I'm gonna think what's. Well, I'm gonna. I exist in my own little world, so I do need people in my life that are very direct about. Okay, I'm thinking this. I mean, you ain't got to be an a-hole about it, but definitely be like, this is what I think, and I feel like people from Baltimore are very much like that. I mean, everybody was sitting already. Everybody was sitting already. I do want to go back to one thing. That Tisha, Destiny did get emotional about the ups and downs with Tisha, because I do feel like there is a real friendship there. I do want to acknowledge that. I do think that there's a real friendship there. I do think that when Destiny said the thing about what Latisha said about either I fight with you or I divorce Marceau, I think that probably broke Latisha's trust with her a little bit more. But I felt like Destiny was like, I need to understand, like, this is what's happening and this is what I think. This is because this is what you said. And I think Latisha was maybe expecting her to keep certain things like off the show, right? And I think that's why at the end, Latisha was like, I don't trust her now. And she's not a hoe. I'm not. She did apologize for that, which I'm like, finally, can we get an apology for that? Because I didn't think that much of it at the time, but now that I've seen the episodes and I saw that Marceau had said that Destiny had been ran through, I feel like that's been a topic of conversation amongst some of the Scots. So, yeah, I'm glad that was talked about. And then Latisha did say how she had fought for Destiny to be back on the show. She had made calls to Carlos and, just did what she needed to do because she wanted to make sure that that Destiny was able to, live in a way that the show allows you to live. I'm certain. I don't know how much they get paid on this show, but if I were to guess, I'm pretty sure they probably get paid. I would say I'm sure that they're probably getting paid on the higher end because they've been around for so many seasons. And I would just be willing to look at the partnership with the network, Kingdom Reign, and ITV as probably evidence that the pay scale, and looking at the fact that they are usually filming their reunions in Los Angeles and not in some type of close proximity to the city that they actually live. I would wager, and also there was the mention of a first class flight for Martell. Then I'm assuming that they got some definite money and backing for them to also have 30 episodes. So I'm thinking that the check at least must be relatively nice per episode. Okay. Or enough to be like somebody's salary for the month that they're filming, and they're filming all the time. So when you look at the fact that you have 30 episodes, let's look at it like this. Even if you're getting paid, I don't know. Let's look at this math. I don't know none of this. Nobody's told me any of this, so I'm just guessing. Even if they were being paid on the, let's say, a mid-low end, if I'm being paid $8,000 for 30 episodes, that's still $240,000 for the year. That is a very nice salary. Would you not agree? Right? So I can also see why Latisha's probably like, listen, if I fought for you to get back this, to get paid this $240,000, let's just say that's what it is. Again, I'm estimating. I don't know, right? Because I think even this is kind of maybe on the low end. It could be 5,000, right? Even if it's 5,000 times 30 episodes, that's still $150,000 that you just made for showing up on camera, right? And what other deals could you be getting in relation to that? I mean, if I was all of them, I would have a YouTube channel as well. You can then probably add in another at least $100,000 to that mix if you're consistent with it, which you did see Latisha has started her YouTube channel. Latisha, I could also consult with you on that one too, because I think you could maximize that. I don't think you're using it well enough. That could be an extra $250,000 per year when you do the math. Okay. So now that we've done the math on that, I'm sure Latisha is sitting there thinking to herself like, girl, I was an advocate for you getting back on this show and getting back into the game with getting this reality TV check. So I deserve a bit more loyalty than that. But I also think Destiny is looking at it like, well, I am still a person. Okay. I'm still a person with thoughts and feelings and emotions. And I've still got to show up as myself and be real on this camera. And I understand that you may have encouraged, a connection. But at the end of the day, Destiny might be thinking that I am still the person that had to call Carlos or talk to Carlos and let him know that this is what I want to do to come back. So it can't just be just that you made a suggestion and you were calling behind the scenes. I also had to actually show up and prove at the same time. And I'm doing that right now because I'm also sitting right beside him. Okay. So it could be that. I don't know. All I know is it's interesting when I do the speculations and I start making these calculations and I start looking at these numbers right here, baby. So, very interesting conversation. Okay. Whew. All right. What else we got? What else y'all got for me? Now, what else is going on? Cynthia Bailey style. I'm getting loose now. Um, hello, Shay. How you doing today? Shay says, you missed the part when Carla said Destiny was not fired. She took time off because of the stuff that she was going through. So Tisha didn't help do anything. He did say that. I mean, so that's why I say at the end of the day, Destiny still was the person who is having to say, I'm here. I'm ready to work. Let's work. So if Carlos is saying, all right, girl, you working, let's get to work. So it's one of those situations where if a friend recommends you for a job and you go in for the interview and you kill it, there's the friend has a little bit to do involved with that, but you still had to go into the interview, kill it, and then come in and still do the work, right? And also, too, Toya B, you are correct. Neutrality doesn't require disrespect. I don't think that. Well, see, here's the thing, and I don't think that in the beginning, I didn't see Destiny as being disrespectful. I just saw it as her trying to be neutral because she was trying to get the two of them together. And I think her knowing Miss Nell a bit better let her know that she's going through a lot, y'all. And without saying it, like, just give her some grace. I totally disagree with this stance. We literally saw Destiny go to Detroit, open up her family life. We saw her mom, who had previous substance abuse issues and who's still kind of going through life in this way, meeting her family for the first time. And the whole cast is in Detroit. Like, I just don't agree with that. I can't see that. Are you saying you haven't seen where she lives, like her home? We haven't seen Martell's either, have we? I haven't seen Ken's. I've seen Trisha's. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's hold everybody to the same standard, I guess. That's what I'm saying. I mean, whether it fell flat, it was still shown. Everything is not going to fall, is not going to be the cat's meow, right? Some things are meant to be an exploration in the person's actual life. And even if you don't like what you saw, you still, I think we can at least acknowledge that it was shown. And most people who have parents who have gone through this sort of thing would not even want to actually show it, right? I don't know that I would want to show my mom on television if she had been through all of that. And even if you saw her home, if you didn't like it, would that feel flat? I mean, would you still you know what I'm saying? Like, is it that you don't like what you saw, or is it that you just don't like her on the show? Which is also okay too. I just think that she showed a lot. We don't see his home life. And I don't think we would be able to see Destiny's kid on camera because I'm assuming that the ex, I don't know this to be for certain. I would assume that the ex probably would not allow that to happen. Um, what else is going on? What else is going on? Do 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 do. Let me see if there's anything that I missed. I can't go back and forth on that issue any longer because we have two different opinions. Do 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 do. All right, listen, y'all. For those of you, yeah, that's what I think. I think it's just that for some people, like she will never be able to do anything right for some people, and that's fine. Listen, like everybody's not going to like every cast member. Yeah, listen, it's fine. I think just say that you don't like her. And everybody's not going to like everybody on the show, and that's okay too. I think it's okay because it's. I mean, that's how we. That's how we end up either falling in love with the show or not because we have our favorites or we have our non-favorites, and that's fine. Do 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 do. Oh yes, for those of you guys who are joining us at 2 p.m. I'm going to show you everything behind the scenes of how I am able to book my travel at up to 60% off. And I'm going to show you how to get these complimentary trips. I'm going to show you how to get to some of these destinations for like $29, $1 in some instances. I'm going to show you how to get up to 20% off on flights. I'm also going to show you, what else am I going to show you? Somebody said, when am I traveling in Kenya? I don't know. I've had 2 opportunities to go to Kenya, and the first time I couldn't go because my dad was sick. And the second one, I can't go because the trip is in September, and I have my Bali trip from September 28th through October the 15th. So I was like, it'd be too much for me to try to do Kenya and then go to Bali because I would never be at home. So, but I did put the email in the chat for you guys who want to join in, and it's also in the description. bookings@djrichieskye.com. If you email me up to at least 1:55 p.m., then I will be able to get you the link for the Zoom at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please do not miss this one because y'all, it's going to be lit. So I'm excited. I'm super excited. Let me know if you guys are going to be attending by just shooting me an email, and also like this video, y'all. Like the video, like it. Yes, Aruba, we have all types of locations. This is worldwide. It's over 80 countries. Also within the United States as well. So in case you need to travel in the US, we've got access to condos and timeshares as well. So if you need to take a family trip, if you need to bring your family along, everything that we do is most of the trips are either going to be for you and a plus one. So it's not just you that's going alone on these trips. And yeah, it's lit. It's super lit. And I need you to get in before summer because we are doing a small group trip to Vail. Okay, so we're going to Vail in December. I think it's December 9th through the 13th. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can get in on our Vail trip too. So for those of you guys who have not been able to travel out of the country with me, you do not need your passport for this. We're going to end the year right in Vail, and it's going to be in the mountains. We're talking about snow, skiing, all of the things. And we're going to have some fun workshops too. So you want to definitely be a part of that. So if you have not been to Vail, let's go. All right, I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Oh, and of course, Real Housewives of Atlanta recap tomorrow. Do y'all want me to do it live? If you want me to do it live, put live in the chat and I will do it live. Otherwise, I might have to pre-record it. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But anyway, y'all know I love y'all. And I will even if we disagree, Miss Toya BC, you know I love you. I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate the fact that you have a different opinion and you do so respectfully. So I like that. You're the perfect example of somebody that we love to have in the channel, who is active, who is engaged, who might not have an opinion about somebody that I have, but you still show up respectfully. And I like that. So thank you. We appreciate it. And y'all know I love all of y'all. Okay, Crystal, I see what you're saying. Y'all want it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Thank you for hitting that like button. Oh, thank you so much. Love how you pivot. Smart. Protect your peace. Yes, 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 yes. That's how we got to do it. Live, live. Okay, so we'll be live. All right. So we'll go live tomorrow, likely around 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. So I'll let you guys know. I'll try to set it up in advance so you guys at least have knowledge that it's happening maybe a little bit early. So yeah, definitely do that. I'll do that in the morning. I won't set it tonight, but I'll set it tomorrow morning, I think. So yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. Everybody says live. Okay, y'all. I got y'all. I got y'all. I know Toya, and I appreciate you so much. I really do. Um, Vale, yes, your home state. That's where we going. Oh, I love y'all too. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. All right. So I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video.